Hyper Light Drifter. Adam, they're 3 words which to me, I mean, do they go together? Maybe you'll be able to answer that question over the next 7 to 9 minutes. What is Hyper Light Drifter? Seems to, well, for me, it seems to have come out of nowhere, and it's really grabbed the attention of the populace.
So I'll tell you what it is. Do you remember last year a little indie game came out called Undertale?
I do.
And everyone talked about how, and basically it was, Game of the Year material and all this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. This is 2016's version of that. This game is phenomenal. It's nothing like Undertale in terms of the game. Well, I suppose it's like an indie-looking game. I don't mean to be dismissive, but it looks like how you picture an indie game. It's got this very sort of pixely, gorgeous, I think, art style that's done really well. There's lots of colour, but there's also darkness in it. The story is incredibly vague. I'll be honest with you, haven't a clue what's going on, and I've looked around and it seems that no one's 100% sure. But what it is a Zelda-like. But what it does is it takes Zelda and it makes it difficult. Like, it gives it some really hard combat. So you've got a sword, which, is your main attack, but you've also got the titular Hyper Light Drifter, the drift, I guess. And you press the A button on an Xbox 360 controller or Xbox One controller, and you kind of drift. You sort of blink. It's like, do you remember Dishonored's Blink?
Yes.
It's basically Blink, but from a top-down perspective, so you can see yourself, and you can upgrade that so you can, like, as long as you don't hit a wall or mess up the timing, you can just keep blinking around enemies like crazy, to avoid fire. Hitting enemies, though, charges up your gun, gives you kind of bullets, really, and you can shoot them, and it's like, there are lots of elements where you have to use the drift to jump. So you get to the edge of a sort of cliffy area, and there's a bit more of a cliff, but there's a gap between it. So rather than jump, you drift across the gap.
Okay. It's
really, really good. Like, the combat is very difficult at times, but it's incredibly satisfying. There's lots of upgrades you can do. It's like Zelda. There's a north, east, south, and a west sort of area, and you have to go to those areas. Each area you have to find these 4 kind of nodes that you pull out the ground, which gives you access to the boss. You kill the boss, you raise up this weird statue, like obelisk thing, and you carry on to the next area. You can tackle them in an area any way you want, apart from the south, which you can't go to till the end. But it's so fucking good. Like, the boss battle, it's difficult, okay? But then you get to the boss battles, and I know that this, and I'm seriously well aware this has become a catch-all these days, but the boss battles are kind of like Dark Souls-like. Now,
in what regard?
In that they're very, I suppose, in many ways, Dark Souls bosses are like old school games, in that it wasn't just shoot the shit out of it until it eventually falls down. Like, it was more pattern recognition and understanding that, after the boss does this, you need to do this so you don't get hit, and you can get hits in. And the bosses are like that. They're very difficult at first, but when you kind of have to sit back, reflect, calm down, and go, right, I know it's possible. I just need to chill out and know that, right. So for example, when I got to the first boss, I'd explored the world a lot, and I'd upgraded my drift so that I could do that multiple drift. Whereas originally you can just do it once, like you drift across, and there's a little pause before you can do it again. Now, I was sort of smashing around, drifting like crazy all around the room, and I realised what I was actually doing is I was trying to do an advanced technique when I wasn't ready to do it. So the final form of the boss, or the final phase of the boss, he spams this attack at you, and I was drifting all over and getting hit by it all the time. Whereas really all I need to do was to just calm down, stop, know that there was a pattern here, drift each time between the pattern, and I could get up there and smack him to death. And it's, because also I forgot to say, like, on left bumper you can heal as well. So it's a bit like, using your medipack, but you can only carry 3. It's incredibly rewarding, and it's just such a bloody good game. It's so, like, I lost 4 hours the first time I played it,
What's the special hook though? Because I'm just like, just to play devil's advocate for a minute. Like, I'm hearing a lot of, like, right, this is like Dark Souls, this is like Zelda.
Yeah.
The Hyper Light Drifter thing is like a kind of a Blink, you said, a Dishonored, or like, do you remember the teleport in Velocity? That's what I'm kind of reminded of as well.
Yes,
where you held square and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like is there any kind of like special kind of interesting thing?
I think it's the combat. I think the combat is the hook here. You know, the visuals, the audio, they're all, you know, very, very nice. But I think it's the combat is the actual hook. You know, it's the enemies each have different attacks that you have to kind of work around. You know, like there's I know you'll probably see it in the video. There's like these eagle type guys that sort of charge up like a diamondy magic attack. They only take 2 hits. You only have to hit them twice and they'll die. Whereas other enemies can take like 6 or 7, they've got a bigger energy bar. But with these guys, like if you just stand there whacking them, they will just suddenly overwhelm you and they're spamming you with these magic and you'll die real quick. So you kind of have to like drift away from them so they're going to miss, then you can get your 2 hits in, or hit once, drift away. And there's other guys like, you know, once you get better at it, there's like these big sort of giant-y enemies that they jump and they crush you, which is easy to avoid. So you can go up, smack them a bit, then eventually they'll do like a swing attack. So you need to avoid that, drift away, and you can, you know, it's about sort of drifting around your enemy and just throttling them. You know, it's really satisfying and quite addictive. Actually, it's just brilliant, Colm. It's brilliant.
Does it seem meaty? Like is it your kind of like your?
I mean, like it took 4 hours for me before I actually beat the first boss because I was exploring so much. Because it doesn't say like go to the left side of the map first, like, you know. Because I should have said there is like there is a town hub where you can go and like upgrade stuff, and like there's like these little comic book type, not cutscenes, but you talk to someone and no one speaks in a language you can understand, so it brings up like a comic book panel and you're like, there's some story here, I can't work it out, like it's vague enough. So basically some evil has taken over this land and I think, you know, you have to restore it, that's it. But that sounds dismissive. It's the game part that's so good, you know. It's just brilliant, Colm.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure it's if it is this year's Undertale, I'm sure people will be talking about it for months to come, Adam. But if you liked this video, or if you like any of our videos here on youtube.com/GodIsGeek, you can head to patreon.com/GodIsGeek and give us a couple of your hard-earned bucks, and you will get early videos and extended podcasts, exclusive videos. It's not a bad deal, really. So yeah, that kind of just about does it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Adam Cook, for your time. And oh my God, no, I'm behind you. Oh no, I'm to the left. You. Oh God, I'm gonna kill you. I'm just trying to think. of a way to end the video.
Just say goodbye.
Bye. Should have backed the God is a Geek Patreon.